r/AskReddit. Teachers at Reddit, how easy is it for you to tell who has a crush on who? If you want to join my giveaway for $500, subscribe and you will be automatically entered. I teach middle school and elementary school. It is terribly easy. Like, ridiculously easy. I have one class that I teach once a week and I can see all the drama that happens. One pair that had a crush on each other but were shy about it. Then realized they liked each other. Then suddenly they wouldn't sit next to each other anymore. Just recently she has been sitting next to another boy every day. I don't think he realizes. But she's moved on. Very easily. We love playing Cupid. 2. You can tell for the most part when they are bothered when someone joins their group. I let students pair read and if someone tries to borrow one of the pair to be a partner the other one gets really huffy. This is 3rd grade so I'm not 100% sure they even know. Just like an adult life, sometimes it's really easy, other times a pairing totally takes you by surprise. Most of the time the relationships between students is not known to us. This is especially true in larger schools. Generally we don't see you in social times and would not ask you about your personal life, so simply would not know. When I started teaching 15 plus years ago we got to spend more time with pupils where we would get to know them. Now government's policies mean it's work so we don't get to know the kids we are responsible for. Not a teacher. But I'm currently married to my middle school high school crush. We had no idea that we both had a crush on each other. But the teachers knew. We started dating freshman year of college and one weekend I came back from college to see my sister in a high school play. I brought now husband with me. Teacher after teacher after teacher saw us holding hands and said finally. Or I was wondering when you two would figure it out or something to that effect. As a college professor, it is very easy to see who has a crush on me. Nobody has a crush on me. I am teaching 7th grade right now. It's crazy easy to tell. It makes me wonder if I was that obvious when I was their age. Or worse. If there were girls that were that obvious towards me and I didn't notice. It's like they don't even hide it. One of my boys carries a girl's books every day. It is clear to me that he has a crush on her. I learned recently that she has a different one of these guys to carry her books between every class. I mean, that's just manipulative. She's got to know. Right? Oh man. The longing stares across the room. The almost creepy wistful what ifs you can just see in their eyes. When I was in middle school. That was me. Not a teacher. But I've volunteered with kids a bunch. Sometimes it's super obvious and sometimes I'm more surprised than anyone else. I personally try not to interfere unless either I'm asked for help or they need to be told you're being creepy. Sure. I heard about a conspiracy theory that the teachers I had in 7th grade would sometimes sit students that they shipped together. It was never confirmed. But I did notice that I was usually on a table with a guy who would eventually become my crush for that year. I chalked it up to the typical obnoxious troublemaker gets sat next to the quiet nerd scenario, but hey, IDK, maybe my teachers were low-key trying to be my wingman or something. Pretty easy. Kids are about as subtle as diarrhea in white pants. Most of the time they'll just tell you. It's crazy how much a little kid will tell you if you just let them talk. Usually it's pretty damn obvious. And honestly, it's kids singling each other out and teasing each other. So that's why I was always paired up with my crush in 5th grade. The best wingman ever was my damn teacher. Teenagers are not subtle by nature. But they are amazingly oblivious when it comes to matters of the heart. They are really perceptive with other things. Though. The boys almost never recognize if a girl likes them. And the girls never realize a guy is showing interest. It's funny to watch it happen. It's so blatantly obvious as an outsider. But I remember being just as oblivious as a student. I've been both a teacher and administrator for kids from grade 6-12. And man. They are not subtle. High schoolers will often stage whisper in the hallways about who hooked up with who on the weekend. And act shocked when you know what's going on. Sometimes they will literally just tell you. I can't name the number of times some 11th grader has started getting a little too graphic about her weekend and I've had to shut that shit down. Junior high kids are more subtle. But it's just as easy to tell who they're crushing on. Usually they rat each other out. 2. Word travels fast with those kids. And if Mike likes Lisa, the kids are going to be chanting that in the hallway for the next 3 days. There was once a guy girl I had my suspicions about. The biggest clue was I caught them having sex in the men's room handicap stall. Man. Reading all the comments has made me realize that there was a reason why my crush and I kept being chosen to play Romeo and Juliet when we were studying it. But also in year 12 my teacher told my mum that all the teachers had a bet that me and my best friend would get together. That wasn't a thing, so that was weird, haha. School librarian, and it's about 50/50 damn easy to notice who is into who, damn difficult to actually know if they are dating or not. They'll discuss a lot of things with teachers whatnot, but who is dating who is not something that comes up often. I figure teachers who are mentors and see them a bit more regularly and have a more ongoing connection to them and their parents might have a better idea of these things though. One of my girls has a secret candid photo of the boy she sits across from as her cell phone screensaver, which she constantly pulls out in class. We know instantly. Preschool, middle school, high school, just too obvious. Girls get deer-eyed. Boys get shy. Funny story. So gay guy here in modern history in the early 90s in Australia. I was besotted with the basketball playing jock. He was a genuinely nice guy, and we always sat next to each other in class and I'd help him out with the tests. One day as usual he has no book to take notes in and I tear off a sheet of paper for him as the teacher walks past. Now that I look back on it, her smirk was hilarious. She knew. Easier than you think. 12-year-olds are just not subtle at all. The usual giveaways include trying to touch, stare at, and sit next to their crush. They also haven't developed social masks. So flirting will be pretty deliberate and obvious. And they will just about tell people to their face. Beats me how I used to be so oblivious back in my prime. Not a teacher, but a church youth group leader here. It's pretty easy to tell, but we would never bring it up unless the students brought it up to us. That's kind of my strategy with teenagers in general. Listen more than you talk and never give advice unless they ask for it. The thing is that all the students could tell which leaders had crushes on each other. 2. In an all-boys school. Considerably easy. Not a teacher, but a student who, while in high school aged about 17, accidentally got called out twice in separate classes by 2 different teachers, a woman and man, for dating or having a crush on a male friend. In front of my boyfriend of a 1/2 years. Both their excuses? I was smiling and laughing with said male friend during class and was noted to hang out with them in between classes. Thus flirting. Surprise surprise, it's almost like they were part of my friend group. That included my boyfriend too, who I've had several classes with throughout the years. Our group laughed it off, except my frustrated boyfriend, but the teachers genuinely seemed confused and surprised they guessed so wrong. Not a teacher, but my teacher got me and my old crush to sit next to each other in her class. There were a lot of rumors about me liking her, so I'm guessing she just heard it by accident and just decided to play Cupid. My teacher separated me and my crush with no warning. He just decided us liking each other was annoying enough, so we spent the rest of the year across the room from each other. Not a teacher, but I had a girl who I was really friends with and we used to play a lot since we were on the same desk every class. Once a teacher turned to us and said, "You two seem like a couple with your legs on each other." And the whole class laughed at us. We were a little shy. Then something like 2 months after, we were doing the same exact thing in the same exact class and spot and she turned to us and told us the same. "You two. Always playing like that. Looks like you love each other." No one laughed and someone behind us said, "Well, it's not funny now since they actually are boyfriend and girlfriend." And the teacher was surprised and laughed about it. We did too. In the end we were all in good sports. Wonderful girl. I have to tell her something someday. We've become best friends after breaking up and she actually set me with other girls and vice versa. I really love that girl in a friendship way. She have a boyfriend now and she's happy, which is great. Close bracket. One time the teacher had a hard time deciding whether or not I should be seated next to my crush or my friends. Because I talked equally as much with each group. She just confusedly kept switching the seats and wondering if I, a shy 5th grader, was broken or something. It's so easy. From the font and the room. We might as well be watching The Office with all the meaningful looks kids give at each other. Very easy. People tend to look at their crush often. Very often. Stealing glances at someone is a dead giveaway. I teach in higher education. Went to an all-boys school. Teachers usually knew because there was always one kid everybody knew was gay. Thankfully I only left 6 years ago and by then nobody gave him any shit for it, and if they did everyone else would stick up for him. One funny moment was when we were younger and the teacher told us that statistically at least one of us will turn out to be gay. Everyone just looked straight at him. And this was a few years before he came out. But again, no abuse. And considering how much 13-year-olds throw around the F word, that was surprising. High school teacher. Depending on the kids' personalities. They either get louder or quieter when their crushes are present. The loud ones are freaking annoying. The quiet ones are the ones I would purposefully sit next to their crushes, haha. Their friends usually blurt it out to you. I'm a kindergarten teacher. And my students are all 5 years old. Most of the girls like one particular boy. A few weeks ago, a very drama queen type girl announced she was going to marry said boy. This led to an actual fist fight with another girl. I teach young children, 7, 8, 9 years old. I usually can tell because children are not subtle about it. They will ask me or their friends things which are dead giveaways like, where's Mary? Is she coming to school today? I hope Mary isn't sick. Do you think she missed the bus? And then Mary turns up and they can't help but stare or get close to them. I always thought that it was incredible that I was always sat next to the girl I liked. It all makes sense now. I'm a freshman in high school. There are about 31-40 boys and 20-30 girls in my grade. Rather small school. If it's easy for teachers to tell, I'm doomed. I wanted to ask this because in 4th grade my teacher frequently paired me and my crush up for assignments. To the point where my crush was getting suspicious. Good times. I teach 7-year-olds. So they are usually just playing a game. But I had this one boy whose crush told him she didn't like naughty boys and he was in tears. He told me earnestly that he felt poorly. Like he was going to be sick. Broke my heart. Didn't realize my little guys could feel so hard. Like and subscribe if you want to.